It happened on a rainy Thursday evening when everything seemed to go wrong at once. My car refused to start, my phone battery was nearly dead, and I had just returned from a miserable day at work. I called my girlfriend, Sophie, expecting her familiar voice to calm me down immediately. She didn't answer. I tried again, then sent a message explaining that I needed some help. 10 minutes passed without a response. I was standing outside a small repair shop, wondering what to do next, when headlights appeared at the end of the street. A familiar car slowly pulled beside me. The driver's door opened, and Sophie's older sister, Claire, stepped out. She looked worried, holding an umbrella above her head as rain fell around us. "I was worried," she said immediately. "Sophie showed me your message. She couldn't leave, so she asked me to come check on you tonight." I was surprised but relieved. Claire had always been kind to me, although our conversations had mostly been brief family gatherings and casual greetings. She looked at my car, then at me, and asked whether I was hurt. I laughed and said the only thing injured was my patience that evening. Claire smiled and opened the passenger door of her car. "Get inside before you freeze." I climbed in, grateful for the warmth. She handed me a towel from the back seat and asked exactly what had happened. I explained everything, including the strange clicking sound I had heard earlier that evening. She listened carefully and suggested calling roadside assistance. While I made the call, Claire waited beside me, checking the time occasionally. She wasn't acting dramatic or overly concerned. She simply seemed genuinely determined to make sure I was safe. That quiet concern made me appreciate her kindness more than expected. The roadside service estimated 40 minutes. Claire immediately said she would stay until someone arrived. I told her she didn't have to, but she shook her head. "Sophie would never forgive me if I left you here alone." Her words made me smile because I knew she was right about Sophie. We sat in the car listening to rain tap against the windows. Claire asked how work had been, and I admitted I was struggling. My boss had criticized a project I had spent weeks preparing. I had tried pretending it didn't bother me, but saying it aloud suddenly made everything feel heavier. Claire didn't give me an easy speech about staying positive. Instead, she told me about a time when she had failed badly at something important. She explained how embarrassment had convinced her she wasn't capable until someone reminded her that one disappointing result couldn't define her entire future. Her story changed the mood inside the car. We began talking more openly, discovering that we shared similar fears about disappointing people. Claire admitted that she often felt responsible for everyone around her. I told her that caring about people was admirable, but carrying every problem alone could become exhausting. After another 20 minutes, the tow truck finally appeared. Claire stepped outside with me and held the umbrella over both of us while the mechanic examined my car. The problem was smaller than expected. A loose connection had caused the trouble, and the repair would take only a few minutes. I thanked Claire repeatedly, but she waved away my gratitude. "Anyone would have done it," she said. I disagreed. Not everyone would drive through heavy rain late at night simply because their sister's boyfriend needed help. She smiled and told me that family looked after people when they needed it. The cafe conversation continued naturally. Claire asked about my plans, my family, and the things I wanted from life. I realized she wasn't trying to create some secret connection. She was simply getting to know the person her sister had chosen to love. That realization made everything comfortable again. Before we left, Claire looked serious for a moment. "I know you're important to Sophie," she said. "That's why I came tonight. Whatever happens between you two, please treat her with honesty." I promised. Her words weren't threatening or suspicious. They sounded like the protective advice of someone who deeply loved her sister. We drove home separately after the rain weakened. At my apartment, I received another message from Claire. It simply said, "Glad you're safe. Get some rest." I thanked her and put my phone down. The evening had started with frustration, but it had ended with unexpected gratitude and perspective. The next morning, Sophie called and apologized for missing my messages. She had been helping her mother and hadn't noticed her phone. Then she thanked her sister again for going to me. I told Sophie that Claire had been incredibly kind. Sophie laughed and said, "That's Claire. She worries too much." A few weeks later, I saw Claire at a family dinner. She smiled and asked whether my car had survived its dramatic breakdown. Everyone laughed when I told the story. There was no secret tension or hidden meaning. What remained was simple. She had helped me when I genuinely needed someone. That night taught me something I hadn't expected. Sometimes people enter difficult moments without wanting anything in return. Claire hadn't shown up because she wanted attention or praise. She came because someone she cared about was worried. Her kindness reminded me that genuine concern can arrive from the least expected person.